Hi, welcome to Writing the Introduction Paragraph. My name is Miss Rowland. Today we're going to talk about how to construct the perfect introduction paragraph, whether you're writing a 5-paragraph essay or a 10-page research paper or anywhere in between. So why is an introduction important? Well, there's a few reasons. First of all, your introductory paragraph is going to inform your reader of your topic. It's also going to let your reader know what stance you're taking on that topic or what your essay intends to prove. It's also important to kind of bring the reader into your paper. You want them to read a little bit further, to really be invested in what you're going to tell them. Now, an introductory paragraph has a few factors that it really needs to contain. First, we're going to start off our introductory paragraph with what's known as a general statement. Even though you've already constructed your thesis statement, it's important that you don't start a lengthy essay with your thesis statement. You want to draw your reader in, and so we're going to start with sort of a general statement, and then we're going to bring them down into our thesis statement to round out our paragraph. I want you to think of the introduction as an upside-down triangle. Now, I know you're thinking, this is English class. I don't want to use math. This is the only time we're going to refer to math. Obviously, this is a triangle upside down. Now, where is the broadest part of our triangle? Well, it's right at the top. That's our broadest, widest part. I want you to imagine our paragraph being this triangle. We're going to start off our paragraph with a really broad, wide, open-ended statement. And that's going to be our first sentence of our introduction. We don't want to be too specific right off the bat. We want to draw our reader in. So we're just going to make a general statement about our topic to give them a heads up about what we're going to be talking about. This is where we're going to put our general statement. Then we're going to slowly whittle down and focus our paragraph so that the end is our narrowest part of our paragraph, the one that's most specific to our paper. And that is where we're going to put our thesis statement. So even though you've constructed your thesis statement already, do not put it right at the beginning of your paragraph or right at the beginning of your essay. Instead, you're going to want to draw your reader in, and I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do that. So our first statement, it's our general statement. I want you to imagine your teacher has given you a topic. He or she probably did not tell you what you have to prove, just gave you a topic that you needed to research and focus and then prove a stance in your paper. So this could be a sentence that anyone else in your class could use. It's not going to reveal your stance or your particular focus for your paper, just a general statement about your topic. Keep in mind, the purpose of this general statement is just to sort of hook your reader, to let them know, hey, this is what our topic is, but it doesn't quite reveal where the paper is going to go just yet. The final sentence of our introductory paragraph is going to be our thesis statement. Now, you've already covered thesis statement. You know that a thesis statement shows what the writer intends to prove. It also gives a kind of map, a kind of overview of what the paper is going to reveal. Now, this may be done by going through and incorporating, if it's a shorter essay, like a 5-paragraph essay, maybe you're going to touch upon the 3 topics that you're going to cover in each one of those body paragraphs. You could do that. Or if it's a lengthier essay, you may want to reveal a few of the highlights, the main focuses of that research paper. What's really important to remember are there are a couple of rules to this thesis statement, but I want you to apply these rules to your entire introductory paragraph. One, never use first person. The only time you really want to use first person in any sort of formal writing would be in a personal narrative. So this is going to be absent from things like a research paper or any sort of persuasive essay. That means terms like I think, I believe, in my opinion, they're a no-go. So don't use those words at all. Second, don't state what will happen, kind of like this essay will prove. That is wasted language. We want to really hook our reader, and this is sort of excess language that doesn't help us at all. Obviously, you have a plan. Obviously, you're going to prove something. There's no need to write that at all. You are just going to state what is the case. And last but not least, don't state that it's an essay or a paper, like in this paper, in this essay, in the following paragraphs. Those, again, are just junk words. They aren't going to contribute to our paragraph at all. Obviously, it's a paper. The person is reading it. Obviously, you have paragraphs. So don't include those types of phrases at all. So we have the beginning of our introductory paragraph and we have the end of our introductory paragraph. We have a general statement, just a statement about our topic, and then we're ending with a very specific statement about what our paper is going to prove. But this may be very jarring because we have a very broad statement and then we have a very narrow statement, and it's going to kind of seem very odd and it's not going to flow very well. And we really want to hook our reader. We want to use some very smooth writing, something that's going to make our reader want to continue reading. In order to make our paragraph flow, we're going to include what I like to call the bridge sentences. And that just means it's one or two sentences that are going to link that general statement to the thesis statement. To make our paragraph flow, we may find that we're going to go from a very general statement, narrow down to our thesis. So maybe our bridge statements will be a little bit more specific, and then our thesis is very specific. Doesn't have to be that way. It just has to be some sort of sentence or sentences that is going to make our paragraph make sense. So in some way, we're going to link sentence A to sentence B in some sort of understandable way. Now, what does this look like? I know I'm throwing a lot of theories out to you, but I want to show you what I mean by that upside down triangle. So here is one example. Let's say your teacher assigned you a social issue that you're going to write about. Let's say social media and teenagers. That's your general topic. First, write a general statement about that topic. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this should be a statement that is general knowledge. That means it shouldn't be a new fact that you got from your research. This should be something that doesn't need to be cited, that everyone can kind of agree that they understand and know. And just think, it can be a statement that anyone else in your class that had the same topic assigned to them could use in his or her paper. So here's an example of a general knowledge statement. Social media is everywhere, from Twitter and TikTok to Instagram and Snapchat. General statement about social media. Our focus, we decided, let's say, is how social media affects teenagers emotionally and physically. And we found in our research that it actually can harm them. So our thesis statement that we've constructed now that we've done all of our research is that social media can negatively affect a teen's physical health as well as his or her emotional one. Notice we went from a very broad statement about social media, something that we're not proving, something that just everyone kind of knows about social media, about our topic. And then we went way down to something very narrow, very specific, and it's a statement that is debatable and that we can prove in our paper. But if we just have these two sentences, it's kind of jarring. We've kind of made this giant jump. So our bridge sentence has to be something that's going to sort of link the fact that social media is everywhere to social media hurts teenagers. Well, one way we could do that is maybe to talk about social media and teenagers in general, or perhaps even how social media helps teenagers. So here's a bridge statement that we put in the middle. Notice the flow of our paragraph now. It's going to get more and more specific until it gets to our thesis statement. Social media is everywhere today, from Twitter and TikTok to Instagram and Snapchat. In a time when social distancing due to a pandemic forces teenagers to interact with people only online, social media helps teens maintain their relationship with friends and family members, as well as keep up to date with current events. However, social media can negatively affect a teen's physical health, as well as his or her emotional one. We've even put in that word however. However is a transition word. That means it's going to help link one idea to another. Our bridge statement is kind of talking in general what social media is used for by teens, but also how it's helpful and necessary. But what we're going to prove in our paper is how social media can hurt teenagers. So that's a contrast, and that however word helps our paragraph flow. So keep those transition words in mind as you're writing. It will help you kind of flow your paragraph so that each sentence eases into the next. What if your assignment is a literary one? Let's say the teacher gives you a book that you've read in class and you need to pick an aspect of that book, perhaps something that's controversial. Here's a paper topic: controversies regarding the novel Frankenstein. Well, there are a lot of controversies, from the depiction of science, the depiction of father-child relationships, to even the book itself and who wrote it. A general statement about our topic might be, even people who are not fans of horror are familiar with the Gothic novel Frankenstein. Notice again, we don't know from our general statement what our paper is going to prove. Very important, guys. Notice our thesis isn't the first sentence that our reader reads. We're going to draw our reader in, but the first sentence is going to give a hint at what our paper is about. Our thesis statement is going to be very specific. Although she was only 20 years old when the novel was published, Mary Shelley, not her husband, is the true author of Frankenstein. This is what our paper is going to prove. It's debatable because it is something that some theorists believe that she was not the true author. It's something that's a controversy. The book was written back in the early 1800s, and so it has been a while. Society was a little bit different then, and so it is something that's debatable, and we're going to have to prove that she is, in fact, the true author. But huge jump, right? When we're just talking about in our general statement how most people know the story of Frankenstein, all the way into Mary Shelley is the writer. We need something that's going to draw us down, bring us into that very narrow statement. So our bridge sentence. Notice our paragraph now. Even people who are not fans of horror are familiar with the Gothic novel Frankenstein. Authorship is attributed to Mary Shelley, but as the book was published in 1818, a time when writers were more often male, and Mary's husband, the famous poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, wrote the novel's introduction, a number of people once believed Percy wrote the story too. Although she was only 20 years old when the novel was published, Mary Shelley, not her husband, is the true author of Frankenstein. Couple of things to notice. Our general statement, our bridge statement, these are all statements that do not need to be cited. They're all general knowledge statements. They're things that we got off the top of our head or just from knowing this before we even did our research. This is to draw our reader in. We're just trying to bring our reader into our paper. And we're going to end our introduction with our thesis statement. So as a review, when you sit down to write your paper, whether it's a 5-paragraph essay or a lengthy research paper, remember, for your introductory paragraph, think of that upside-down triangle. Start with a general, broad statement about your topic, something you do not have to cite, something that anyone with the same topic could use as a beginning sentence. Then skip down and write your thesis statement. Go back, fill in the middle with a bridge sentence or two just to make the paragraph make sense. If you get stuck, think of how broad your first sentence is, how specific your thesis statement is, and try to figure out what would be a happy medium between these two. What would be something that's a little less general, that focuses your reader into being prepared to read that thesis statement. When you're constructing that introductory paragraph, stay out of first-person voice. No I, no me, no in my opinion. Don't use phrases like in this essay, in this paper. It's very apparent. We're obviously reading it. We know it's an essay or a paper. Don't waste your words. And last but not least, don't state what you will do. Simply state what is true. I know that it can be very difficult to write a thesis statement and not use this type of language. But remember, you've done the research. You've planned out this essay. What you're going to state for your thesis statement is true because you're going to prove it as true. If you find you have any questions about writing your introduction, don't hesitate to drop me an email. My email address is on the screen. Good luck.